So I'm headed for another adventure. Hopefully not too much of an adventure. I have a little problem because this is a half marathon I signed up for and I'm not really prepared for it. I'm headed to Timothy Lake, and this is an organized trail run. There's a half marathon and a marathon, and I'm doing the half marathon, of course. I've done it a couple of times before, but this year I just did not prepare for it appropriately. And one of the runs I did recently just was awful. So now I'm afraid it's just not going to go well. So I figure I have three alternatives. One is I could just gut it out and do the whole thing, do the best I can, try to run it. But I'm afraid that may overwork me and wear me out and cause me to deteriorate in my conditioning rather than get better. I could do just a portion of it, go out and back, do 8 or 10 mile run. Or I think what I'll probably end up doing is running what I can and walking what I can. It's 14 miles. It's a beautiful lake, and it's really a nice hike around the lake. And the run is fun that way. So I don't really want to skip it, so it'll be good. I just probably won't be able to run the whole thing. One of the biggest challenges of doing these long events, and this one will probably take me 2.5 or 3 hours, is to be sure you've eaten well and you are going to have the appropriate blood sugar levels throughout the event, so forth. So last night I ate dinner, ate a bunch of noodles, the whole carb loading thing. This morning I had a breakfast, and then I had kind of a second breakfast on the way up here. And the second breakfast wasn't huge. It was a breakfast cookie and water, just enough to add a little energy to the mix. The thing is, you can't really eat enough to get through an event and keep your blood sugar up for an event that will last more than a couple hours. So, really, the main reason I do this event is so I can eat goo. I love this stuff. All it is sugar and caffeine. There's no nutritive value. But they have such great flavors with the chocolate outrage and the espresso love that I just love them. This event offers the possibility of doing a marathon, and I'd like to, but I've never done one, and I probably will never do one because I don't feel like I can exercise enough to prepare for it. It just beats me up too much. My knees, my feet, my ankles. I just get so sore and tired. There's no realistic way for me to be able to do that. I think the half marathon is pretty much at the limit of my ability to exercise and prepare for it in years that I do. This is a fun one. It's worth getting out of bed for. I'm on the way to Timothy Lake. I thought I'd stop and show you one of the areas in the National Forest. This place is so nice in the springtime. You know, on the west side, or the wet side, there's trilliums come up about a month earlier in May and that sort of stuff. Here on the east side, which is kind of the drier side of the Cascades, you can see the meadows are full of this bear grass. It's all along the roads and is just fun. This event gets more and more popular every year. I'm parked out here like a mile from the start. The weather is like perfect this morning. Blue sky, sunny. In the sun it's toasty warm. In the shade it's just a little chilly. This half marathon is held at Timothy Lake every year, and the venue is fun because it's about a 12-mile walk around the lake, so the run goes clear around the lake. It's relatively level, you know, there's just like any trail run, there's quite a lot of little ups and downs, but being around the lake is pretty level. The sailboat picture was taken in that location a few years back.
We can bounce around from town to town, and that's fine with me. If you want to just ride the breeze, well, I'll go anywhere. West Virginia, baby, I don't care. Mexico on a wild hair. Have you ever seen California? Pick a spot on any old map.
One of the things I love about trail runs is that the people that are faster than you continue to pull away and get further ahead. The people that are slower than you continue to fall further behind. After the first mile, I'm about a mile in now, really there's very little tripping on each other. Well, how many hours of this would you like to watch? I could have taped hours of this. Well, I got pollen all over my camera. Didn't really anticipate that. This bridge is about 4 miles in. Okay, I'm probably not a mile from the last rest area, which was 6 miles. So I'm about close to halfway. I am halfway. There's no reason to turn around at this point. I'll still have to make a decision about walking. But so far I've been running. But I'm clearly the slowest guy on the race course. That doesn't bother me. I always joked about my goal was to finish last. Because it beats not finishing, you know? I'm at the dam. I've run the whole way so far, which I think is roughly 10 miles. My legs have been sore and tired the entire time, more so than usual. Usually one of the things I love about running is when I'm running, I don't feel anything. It just really
shoots up the endorphins and shoots down the pain, I guess. If you can see, there's a rest area coming up. Hooray! Okay, so I'm in the campground on the south side of the lake. I stopped at milepost 9.9. There was a rest area at 9.9. And I stopped there, got some water, had another goo. It was magnificent, of course. And my legs are sore, and I'm trying to decide what makes sense. So I've been walking since then. It's been maybe a mile, probably not quite. But you know, once you've been running, it's just very hard to slow down like this. It's painfully slow. So I'm going to go back to running. Here we go. I'm about a mile from the finish. There's a steep little section. And like most steep little uphills, I walk them. That's what makes me so slow between walking the uphills and then I walk the downhills to save my knees. My progress can be pretty slow at times. Even slower than this race, which was slow anyway. I think I'm already into this. Almost 3 hours, which is a personal worst. Alright, well, that was painful. 3 hours, 25 minutes was my worst time ever by like a half hour. A year or 2 years ago, whenever I did this, I did it an hour more quickly. So there is some benefit, I guess, to actually exercising, working out, preparing for an event like this. You probably don't need advice on what constitutes success or failure, but you know, when I look at this deal, it's a beautiful day. The facilities are magnificent, and I had a pretty good time, even though it was literally painful. It's difficult to characterize that as a failure. I think at some level, though, the possibility for failure needs to exist, or otherwise it's not really an adventure. If the foregone conclusion is you're going to be successful, that doesn't really provide much challenge, does it? So, from that perspective, doesn't really hurt my feelings, but from a personal performance perspective, it was ugly. Well, one of the other things about poor performance on my part is that it reminds me that I like getting out and doing this stuff. It doesn't really matter whether my performance is where I think it should be or not. It pushed me to get out here. I did a difficult event. I, ran probably 12 of the 14 miles, and there's a great deal of joy and pleasure and fun in that. So there was no harm here at all. And I enjoyed the experience, and it's why I do these things, so I can get out. Get off the couch, get out there and find the joy. Get out there and make it real. You know, in open range, if you hit a cow, you buy it. In more civilized locations where there's fences and so forth, the farmer is liable if his cow gets out. But in areas with open range, you're responsible if you run over that cow. These long runs like this are fun, and they're tough. But at the end of the day, they're just a question of putting one foot in front of the other one again and again.
I'm going home. I'm going home. Been a long time now and I'm going home.
This is the Odd Man, out.